Welcome back to the channel. It's cold. Everything fell apart on me again today. I meant to do a whole different video than that's going to happen, but you know what? We're just going to do it anyway. So I'm walking around my neighborhood with my cell phone and a light so you can see my face. And we're going to make this video anyway because we have a ton to talk about. I'm going to get into some really cool things on the greenhouse. I want to show you the full video of us showing the cold air drops and how they work, how they vent. And then I've also got 2 days worth of greenhouse data that I'm going to share with you. But first, we're going to have a discussion on everything that seems to be going on in this crazy, out of control world. So come with me on a little walk. And remember, at the end of the video, for you people that are here just for the greenhouse, which is fine, we like all of you, I will show you some cool greenhouse stuff.
Okay.
So what you're seeing is the cold air going down 6 feet in a 2-foot tube, and then it's running on a slight angle up through an 8-inch pipe under the ground and into that grow bed. That is actually fantastic. Okay, I'm in full-on creeper mode. Like, seriously, I've got my selfie camera in my hand and I've got this little light dangling from it, like a little lantern, as I go walk around the neighborhood, specifically the trailer park. But you know what? Like I say, this is not the video I wanted to do. I'm really excited for something else I'm going to share. It's going to come another day because we've got like a few days worth of data, worth of the world completely falling apart. And we just have to have this discussion because it ties in with everything that this channel and being self-sufficient is about. And so we're gonna go. You know, last night I sent a little text off to my brother-in-laws. I've probably got about 15 different text threads, brother-in-laws, my brothers, a certain group of friends that are feeling this way, other groups of friends that this way. I mean, and I can't keep it straight, but it's kind of fun. And you know, I'm like, well, to my brother-in-laws, I'm like, really nothing has happened tonight, you know, except for the meteor that hit Mission, Texas. And oh yeah, there was a Black Hawk that went down in Alabama. Oh, and there's some more information on other rail cars outside of Ohio. And so I'm like, seriously though, that's the kind of world that we live in. Like, the news cycle is insane. I've decided that I am not going to film a video where I'm talking about any headline unless it's like the night before. Because if I do like I've done before and I film it, I have all these thoughts and they're outdated in an hour because it's just crumbling everywhere. Ohio, you know, I was talking with a really intelligent friend of mine, a really smart friend. He owns a huge successful business, and he was asking about the greenhouse. I think he's about ready to build one, and we got talking about some things that were concerning to him, and he hadn't even heard of Ohio. And I'm like, what? Because I think Ohio is the largest story in the world, in the nation for sure right now. And so many people haven't heard that you know, the train's derailed and the good old government come to the rescue, light it on fire, creating from a very bad ecological disaster to something that's arguably way worse. Because now we're in the situation that can't be contained. You know, I saw one of their congressmen was there in one of their rivers, one of the creeks, and he had a stick and he just agitated the bottom of that stick, and all of that chemical, little rainbow chemical discoloration in the water came up. And you know, he's bringing attention, as he should, that this thing is a nightmare. All right, we thought now would be a great time to test out the theory of the cold air drop and the way that the Manti Homestead and the Manti Greenhouse approached this idea of dropping the coldest of air down to the lowest point to get the cold air off of the main level of the greenhouse where we have plants that are thriving, and to get that cold air out and down and away. So we thought to do that, we would grab a little smoker for beehives. But then we got thinking, you know, that might be a little bit boring for a YouTube video. So, desperate times, desperate measures. There was another resident who threw a big old rock in it looked more of a river, and same thing. There was those little rainbow bubbles just all over in that water. What does that mean? I don't know. It's scary. You know, that basin, the Ohio Valley, where all of this is happening, the drainage of the Ohio River, you know, is drinking water for 5 million Americans. 5 million. That's insane. The plume, you know, I mean, it was going over Pittsburgh, and there's like 10 million people that are, you know, in some type of exposure. What does that mean? I don't know. But, you know, we live in a world where no one trusts the government, and that's not a good thing. It is not a good situation to be in, to where people aren't trusting. Conspiracies abound. You know what? They probably should. We don't trust it. Desperate times, desperate measures. Okay. Wow, that's weird. That is weird looking. There it is.
Oh my word, it works.
Wow.
It works.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So what you're seeing now, just keep it on the smoke there, Miss Becca.
Okay.
So what you're seeing is the cold air going down 6 feet in a 2-foot tube, and then it's running on a slight angle up through an 8-inch pipe under the ground and into that grow bed. That is actually fantastic.
That works better.
Woo, baby, yeah! We are smart. Actually, we got this idea from somebody. So I would never admit this, but the whole greenhouse is thievery of some fantastic ideas. But that right there is really cool. So I want you to keep video. We can always edit later back. So the question I have is, this is taking obviously the coldest of air, and I don't think it's warming it up tremendously well. But again, a couple things are happening. The worst is going. And it is warming it up some because it's rising. You know, if it was the stagnant air, it'd probably just be hovering. But we're rolling into the top of the greenhouse. Maybe you can't see. But, you know, we're about 3/4 up as far as the smoke. So that tells me that we're really moving air. And that was the whole idea, is to rotate that air for the plant health. To try not to have extremes of cold. As well, just the same thing we battle in the day or in the summertime, the extremes of heat up. So that is cool. What exactly are you doing, Devin?
Trevor, I did it.
Yeah, but it wasn't on video.
I just
It is
videoed it.
now.
Not on my school iPad.
What are we doing? Is this your toilet paper experiment? All right, it's 10 o'clock at night, so naturally we're having second dinner and...
Finishing homework.
Knock it off.
Not my homework.
You don't even have school tomorrow. It's not homework.
That's a...
Anyway, I wanted to show how we do BLTs at 10 o'clock when we don't have a tomato with us. These... Oh, thanks, Becca. These cherry tomatoes are like so gosh dang delicious. So, desperate times. Desperate measures. But these, seriously, they're so good. You saw that. They're bursting with flavor. So worth it. That's all. I just wanted to show you that you can be resourceful with cherry tomatoes. It's so gosh dang good.
Bursting with flavor.
Here at the Manti Homestead, our cherry tomatoes are better than yours.
That's not all my quarters.
But one more thing that's on my mind tonight is, you know, back to the balloon. Not ready to let that go. let's just say worst case scenario. You know, that those balloons can be at the perfect altitude for an EMP. Can be. I'm not saying that these were weaponized with a 200-pound nuclear payload, which could create an EMP, but they were at that level. So let's just play it out. Let's say that it happened. What would your life be like today? What would you have wished that you would have done yesterday, the day before, or the day before that? I think that's a good exercise for you. You know, like, wow, what are you saying, Nate? If the power went out, what I wish I would have done? Yeah, talk about it. Have a little family council. Don't make it scary, make it purposeful. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I am not nearly as prepared as I want to be. Not even close. You know, today I spent the day in a really cool mine, a coal mine. And so I was like 1,500 feet under the ground. And the one thing I was talking about with this just amazing, competent person, somebody who has worked in the mining industry 20 plus years and, you know, basically knew that mine inside and out. And I just thought of just the acumen that comes from somebody who knows how to work and who's been there and who has rightfully, you know, gone up into kind of a management situation in the mine. And so it was fun because I was talking to him about, hey, how was life during, you know, the health crisis with all of the shortages, and you know, how's that been for you, yada yada. And one thing that kind of stood out to me is just talking about the specialized parts that's required in a huge industry like that, in the mining industry. Like, if let's say you had one of those long wall components go out, well, where are you going to rebuild that? A lot of these big, massive, specialized things came from China, surprise, surprise, and Germany, surprise, surprise. Well, that didn't make me feel too good, you know? We haven't talked more about Germany, so we don't know for sure who bombed Nord Stream. We just know that a veteran American journalist said that it was the White House, America. If so, a lot of people, even on our side, even Democratic military ex-military, ex-politicians have said, if true, that is an act of war on our part, meaning we escalated. We don't know if it's true, but if it is, we're going to see ramifications for it. I know that that Russia is holding a special meeting regarding it, and that's not good. So where does all this go? Well, back to Germany. Let's say that we were responsible, and a lot of these components for this mine, which gives us coal, which coal gives us electricity. You know what? Go have a conversation with some California politicians and ask them how their sustainable energy initiatives are going right now. You know how they were like, you know, too good for coal, and they were demanding all of these coal-fired power plants be shut down and turned into hydrogen and natural gas. Go ask Mr. Gavin Newsom how that's going, because they've done a massive about face. Right now, I think those politicians are very grateful to have their coal-driven power. Look it up. It's true. You're not going to run, what is California, the 7th largest economy in the world? You're not going to run the economy that is California off of algae. Look it up. It's not going to happen. I think the reason my BLTs are so good with the cherry tomatoes, because they are so flavorful. It's because I double my mayo, double my bacon. And with that much bacon, you can actually afford to have some nasty lettuce on there. Look at that. Amen, brother. Okay, sorry. I had to switch it like hands. My hand is literally gonna fall off. So we're gonna hold this selfie stick with our left hand, and I can't move them. It's actually 18 degrees out here, but there's just something about sticking your hand up in the air and walking around with that little breeze. Anyway, so Nate, why are you out here? Well, the reason I'm out here is part of why my whole day fell apart. So I went into the mine at about 1 o'clock, so I had no cell coverage. About 1:15, I had one of my tenants in the trailer park message me, hey, by the way, my furnace went out last night. Oh, look at that. Bunch of turkeys going to the slaughter plant. It's kind of cool. So at 1:15, when I had no coverage, I get the message, hey, by the way, my furnace went out and my pipes are frozen. And, you know, I was working the whole first part of the day, and that's when people were working too. I'm like, why in the crap wouldn't you wake up and just tell me, like at 8 a.m., you know, hey, emergency, let's get these pipes unfrozen so we don't ruin your trailer. But that's not what I got. I got the message too late. So I come out of the mine about 5 p.m., 5:15, I check my message, I see that, and I had so much planned. Had a basketball game at 6, and tried to get everything in motion, and it was just tough. The heating and air guy was so good to come and help me regardless of it being past hours, but he didn't have the part, so we had to go get the part. Meanwhile, I'm missing the basketball game, and I'm just like, my gosh, you know. And I had asked, you know, my tenant, I have a couple of space heaters that are already underneath his trailer, because last night was, you know, one of those negative nights, so I'm ready. I'm like, hey, can you go plug in those 2 heaters to unthawed? And it's like, it like didn't happen. It's something they couldn't do, so I had to do it. And it's just fine. I'm a landlord. You have to do crap. But I'm just like, oh my God, like something that really weighs on me, having 13 different units, you know, plus the rock cottage that we rent out, and another rental house down the road. Okay, that balloon, let's say it was equipped with an EMP, the power went out. I'm a dad and a husband first. But think of all of the responsibilities that would be on me with that trailer park and with those other rentals. You know, when things get rough, what are my roles to other people? You know, people joke all the time, whoa, when crap hits the fan, I know where I'm going. I'm like, no, there's not going to be anything at my house. I mean, it's all going to be gobbled up. There's 10 of us. Better be working on your own, because if your plan is to come with me, you're going to be disappointed. What's your efforts? What are you doing? And, you know, if you think that, well, good thing I'm not a landlord like Nate. Well, another statistic I want to just throw out to you. Do you realize our national debt is $30 trillion? 32 trillion, I believe. You know, a statistic that I just heard on the radio is that in the next 10 years, we're going to increase the national debt another 20. We will be at $50 trillion in 10 years if those estimates hold out. Okay, well, let's just pretend that the national credit card, which is our national debt, sees a day of reckoning. That, let's say that 40 trillion, not even 50 trillion, but 40 trillion, when we get to that point, that it's going to be too much. And let's say that our credit rating and our way of life, let's say that it buckles and we can't sustain that kind of debt, because it's happened before. Go talk to Venezuela, go talk to Weimar Germany, whatever, we can give a million examples. What do you think is going to happen to our social safety nets? What do you think is going to happen to Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security? Do you know anyone that's on disability? Okay, well, if those programs fail, what will that do to you? Get what I'm saying? I think we're all going to be trailer park owners, meaning we're all going to own a massive amount of social chaos. People all around us that can't plug a heater in, that aren't used to working for subsistence, that, you know, some people rightfully need help. And a really large lot of people have been trained to be lazy. We've been fishing for them this whole time, and they don't know how to do it for themselves. I'm not going to be the only one in the mess, folks. It's going to be all of us. Think about that. I truly believe that the more all of us can get prepared, the better. Just a little update here, February 15th, 2023. We got snow, kind of exciting. But the thing I'm really excited about with the greenhouse is that we seem to be back to where our temperatures at night are like 15 to 20 degrees. And something I haven't mentioned in these videos is like the whole first part of the temperatures outside, 15 to 20 degrees outside. So like right now it's 19 degrees. The sun's not out yet. Last night got down to 15 or 16. My meter seems to be off just a little bit because it's on one of our water barrels out there, outside. But anyway, something I haven't mentioned is that for the most part of this winter, when the temperatures are only down in the teens, inside the greenhouse, as it is right now, 45 degrees. So without any sun, it still stays at that 45. Like 45 is where it wants to be. So in the high teens, we're gonna be 45. As we push down toward 0 and into the negative, 40. That's how it performs with all the thermal mass inside. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on that. Without the sun out, all through the night, and still we're at 45. Even with a cloudy day like this, like the sun is over here somewhere, lost in the ether, we'll still rise. So we still get UVs. This snow, I think, is actually good. It doesn't, that's the most snow that will ever be on there. It can only handle a skiff. You can already see it sliding off. So that performs well. And the massive amounts of thermal mass works well. And the really costly insulation works really well. So I'm just dang happy with the design. There's your update. Okay, just another data clip. It is another cold day here at the homestead. So we've had cold nights before. We had -3 last night, but the whole day yesterday we had snow. So we didn't have hardly any input on our thermal mass. So yesterday the greenhouse got up to 75. That warmed it up a little bit, but following that cloudy day, we get -3. And last night in the greenhouse, we went down to right around 37 degrees. So that's my low temperature. So 37 degrees without any electricity. I went and looked up most of my tropics, and actually they can handle it. They can handle down, some of them are 30, some of them are 20, and even the kiwi can handle like down to 0, which is surprising to me. So I think we're probably okay still. But that doesn't mean that I might not add another efficiency for next winter, just for peace of mind and to lock some more of that heat in and see if I can keep some of that accelerated growth in the plants through the year. All in all, off grid, -3, following a fully shady day, and to still only get down to 37. I want it to be 40 or 45, but you know what? That's good stuff. Oh, by the way, right now 2 degrees, and inside the greenhouse, even though it's only 9 o'clock, 50 degrees in the greenhouse. The sun just barely came out. So we get immediate heat when the sun is everything for you. Things are happening very quickly. And don't approach this from a standpoint of fear. There's no reason. Look at this. There's no reason. I am so hopeful. Life is so good. I'd really like it if you could subscribe to the channel, and if you could tell other people about it. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about some of these events because we need to be aware of what the problem is. I think that the national debt will affect you. Whether you realize it or not, I think it will affect you. I think that the supply issues will affect you. I think the fact that we could have done something in a negative way to Germany, if that's true, that will affect you. They build a lot of parts, from transformers to mining equipment. Who would have thought? If you don't have mining equipment and you don't have adequate coal, you don't have adequate power. Ask California what that's like. So you need to be aware so you can think of a plan. And if you take that into your own control, then you know what? You're not living in fear. You're actually not living in fear. You're living with faith, and you're living with confidence, and you're living within your own control. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Please like and subscribe. Keep your head up. Get busy. Get a plan. Get on it. Hopefully next time I see you, I will have made another construction video. So that'd be construction video number 4. And also I can make the video that I really intended. The video I'm excited to make is, what does a prepper look like? Does it look like me? Does it have to be someone a little bit more fit? You know, I've got a dad bod now, so maybe it doesn't look like me. What does a prepper look like? And I don't think it's what you're thinking. So we'll have that discussion as well. Thanks, guys.
Nate. Hey. Hey, what about the birds?
What are you doing at 11 o'clock at night, folks?